Here we go.
It's up to you.
Okay, we're about to come on right now.
Okay,
Be careful what you say.
I will try to. I'm not having a good week, as you know. I'm a little bit short in patience, but I will try and tame my tongue.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey team, how we going? Let's get ready for that sound check. Get those thumbs up. I'm not going to go through the rigmarole of trying to pretend this is the first of the streams. Here it is.
Hang on, I'll just check the sound.
We are big. We are live. Big are we? Beck we are. Back in business. Biggest fan. Albino, love your tan. Dusty roads. Take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, which is a word that looks like another one that used to make me think, is that rude?
Hey.
Hey, grass. That's an off-pay week feed to cows. Bailey's hat. Good to have you here with the hands of colour once more. Albino Nick. It's good to have you here. And as you can hear, Lauren is with us. We've tried to change everything up. I don't mean to be a cowboy, so to speak, but here I am, a gift from one of our most adored subscribers. Guys and gals, great to have you here. We've got the surfing thrown out from JC, the thin blue line, not to be mixed up with the devil's horns, which I'm not a fan of. Rhinopolis, there they go. That looks like cerebral palsy right there. What the hell is that? JC, well, changed his shirt. Wally, I did. I changed it. Jack Cave. We've got DJ Brown. Welcome to the Great Unwashed. Bam. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I recommend the rest of the world become a member. You know, tonight we're here for Jake. Jake is there on his cot, his bed, his itchy blanket, his counter pain in Singletown, also known as Singleton. You're not allowed to drink in the town because of the feud between what happens between the locals there and the soldiers when they used to come together. It was never pretty. As a matter of fact, it's been horrible. But there we go. Joseph Barker, there he is, up Parramatta. They've got the best colours in the actual NRL. But the Cowboys, I believe, are the best team because they live in the town. They are girt by military.
Right.
And so,
Brandon's got an enlistment day.
Where are we? Where's Brandon?
He was up the top. You must have just accidentally missed him a little bit. Underneath Ryan's
Brandon.
black thumbs. There he is. Finally have my enlistment day.
Finally, he's got his speaking in tongues. What date is that?
I don't know.
I swear my eyes are buttons.
You should put your glasses on. You look good in your glasses.
No way. Joey Moyle, thin blue line. How you going, mate? Good to have you here. There's another man follically challenged. Michael Stott, what's that? Guardian 2-7. The episode team, George sat out of the game. B Stubbsy. You know, being the guy that's always been there with the people that fall short, the breaker of news, or the holder of the red pen that causes said news, it's a terrible thing. And before we let Lauren respond to some things, I was talking before about a role that I was picked for to be the coach of the obstacle course team of the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, where I had to pick people to go and try to crack 5 Aviation, those that dwell in the cave of double glazed glass and Mars bars, first class ride, helicopters, MRH-90s, Black Hawks. Well, anyway, I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what my plan is. All volunteers that want to come and represent the 2nd Battalion in the obstacle course, brigade obstacle course team, you turn up, you have to be a volunteer. We had mortars turn up, okay, and we also had Charlie Company turn up. We had 2 section commanders turn up that were both extremely and highly capable. But the section commander, the biggest guy, I'm trying to think what his name was, tough guy. They were all good to go. But what ended up having to happen was I looked at this and I said, I need a fast-moving, highly capable team that is going to knit quickly and I'm going to get that going. But when you're telling volunteers that stepped up in this group of 700 people and you've got to say no to people, it's a difficult role. Wait 2 seconds. Jaden Harrison, welcome to the Great Unwashed. There you go, member. Great to have you on board. That puts us over 100, over the sea. Hold up the bat. Well done, Bradman. I get a bit excited sometimes. You know, holding up the hickory. I was never a good batter. I was a bowler. Used to put the Yorker on the ingrown toenail of anyone that comes inside the crease. Long story short, I picked the team, broke some hearts. People didn't understand the decision. Mortars weren't happy with me. I made the team, and guess what else I did? I set the record for the fastest ever time set for that obstacle course, and then it changed after that, which means I'm still the fastest coach of the brigade team, which was 2nd Battalion. They were undefeated because it changed after that, which means they were the last ones to hold the belt. Well done. Unfortunately, when we went back from that, that was when we were finding out the news that the 2nd Battalion was deploying to 3 different operational theatres all at the same time. Guess who was the only sergeant that never went? I'll give you one guess. You're looking at him. I am the one that never got picked. So it's fitting that tonight, as I look at this Roman, as I think of Jake sitting on his itchy bed, how many people have slept in it? Have the blankets ever been washed?
Oh, God.
I know about disappointment. I know about being in the winning team, being in the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, second to none, and being told because I had a soppy, bleeding, pus-ridden cake hole due to a disease that I'd caught in East Timor that I was now no longer deployable. So imagine training people to be the A team when you know you should be on it.
Yeah.
One of the best people I've ever met, Todd Noble, as they were getting ready to deploy. All these buses, if I was in England, all these soldiers there waving like the Queen, getting ready to go and deploy on their 3 different operational trips. He got on, got off the bus. He was a sergeant at the time, came down and said, "I'm not a sailor," and put his arms around me and said, "I'm sorry, mate. You shouldn't be the one that's staying at home." So that meant I had to look after rear details with all the injured, those getting out, those that weren't allowed to go overseas for one reason or another. Yep. And I had to say goodbye to all of the guys that I call brother who were going over into harm's way. The hardest thing I've ever done, tears out my eyes, just like they were when I missed out on Somalia and had to be in the guard box for the next 6 weeks. Hayden Lynch, how you going, mate? Thank you very much for the bearer of coffee. I've got a coffee date, not a date, a catch-up with one of our subscribers tomorrow who's coming all the way from the Blue Mountains that aren't actually blue. We're going to go and have a coffee together, have a yak, and get him ready for his great adventure. Thank you very much there, Hayden Lynch. That takes us well over the 100, the sea, the bat in the air. Great to have you here as part of the channel. We're going to go for at least 20 years, and you're going to remember back to being there from the start. Lauren, dealing with bad news, dealing with failure, more often than not as a tattooist in Townsville, you've seen soldiers come in and give you complete confessions that you must have been thinking, I can't believe he's telling me this.
Oh, you get used to it after a while. Yeah, you're a bit like a, cheap psychologist without the advice to give. I think, yes, I've heard a lot of people who have had bad news and failure, and, I've seen all sorts and people who've messed up their whole lives, but it's mostly their reaction to the failure that makes or breaks them. It's what they do next.
Yeah. Kyle Lapaketa, I have. I'm about to address what Lauren just said, and I totally agree with it. We actually have the man of the hour, Jake. Thanks for the chat, Kaz. We spoke today, twice in the last 2 days, as he let me know. He could have called anyone, but called Kaz with his one phone call from Alcatraz, an itchy blanket, horse blanket. Kaz, it's a lot better than being alone. Just had to clear up. It was EF88, not the Minimai, or else I'd be snapped in half. Okay, so it was his assault weapon, right? But I've got to have creative license on this one, mate. It was the Mag 58. It was with the tripod and night vision equipment on it, and it got you right in the back of the coccyx. Okay, no, mate. Yeah. Brody Roper, good to have you here. He's been here a lot. So is Spartan Mouth. Can only imagine JC. Let's hope if it goes by in no time and you're back out there. Yep, we want him on the streets.
Yeah.
Lauren, you were saying it's what you do next. It's exactly right. I've had immature responses to information that I've been handed, but it can take you into a dangerous area where all of a sudden, you've made things worse for yourself because of the way you've dealt with that harsh information. And sometimes when you get that information, it's not the fat lady singing. There is still a chance to be given contradictory information, but they're going, well, based on what you just did, then the way you face adversity, what would you be like on an operational environment if you were to get bad news or something was to happen? Are you going to have an emotional response or are you going to have a professional response?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Every failure will see you at a fork in the road, and you can choose to have a pity party or you can dust yourself off and try not to repeat the same things that got you there.
It's absolutely true. And haven't we got a beautiful community that we've got the ability to come on here and be able to all gather around Jake, so to speak, while his friends right now are the night before the night that they are going to qualify for their offensive operations phase, of the assault phase of their IET training. So Jake is not alone. He's here in the channel. He got looked after and listened to the channel before he joined. Now he's here, and it's showing that you guys are gathered around him. Didn't know it was about Jake necessarily from the start, but this is what's happening, and it could be you next.
Exactly. And I'm sure our Jake will keep trucking, as someone just said.
Here we go. JC is in uppercase here. Never throw away your apprenticeship for the military or the police. You might not like service life or have something to fall back on. And dude, when you're doing an apprenticeship, you can have a fantastic life. Why don't you do, if you're already going to be a tradie, why don't you go and do Army Reserve and still be able to have the best of being in Army Reserve, in infantry, have a choice what corps you go to.
Yep,
I think it's a fantastic way.
Yep.
If I was better with my hands,
I'm not saying anything.
No, I was always going to be Army. Would I be allowed to bring a GoPro to Kapooka, Kaz? No, you won't, mate. You won't be allowed to do that. You're not allowed to take anything that's not on the list, and anything that's not on the list will be going in a bag that you won't see again until you've probably done about 4 weeks. All right? You're not allowed to take footage, so to speak, of things that haven't been forecast, especially at Kapooka, where media is one of our biggest enemies. No, it's not a YouTube production line. Who else is enlisting Kapooka on the 21st of September? Well, why don't you ask that, William? I've got the list right here. Sorry, Lauren.
That's okay.
That's okay, baby. September, 22nd, we've got Corey going in. Okay, we've got JJ. He's going to the Navy, or he's going to Subway. He's going to be a submariner. We've got...
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. I've had a few conversations with him. I hate to say it, but he's one of my favourite people to speak to because...
That's pretty special. That sounds exciting to me.
It is special. And what if you got on there and every single other person except you was LGBT?
That wouldn't even matter. I imagine they're all very professional.
That's right, they are. You got to be. You can't afford to have enemies on a submarine.
Yeah, exactly.
21st, Ronan. He's going as well. And we've also got... that's not another camel. Mitch. Okay, we've also got Blue Bowls. We've also got Morgan, who's going to Navy as well. So Morgan and JJ, you'll be going at the same time. We've also got some others here. So they need to go on the list. The best way to do that is put in comments to this video later when it's finished rendering. Yep. Okay, or the first one to this. All right. Okay, yeah. So Fugly's here. G'day, mate. JC, finishing mine, not taking the opportunity was the stupidest thing I ever did. And these opportunities, team, they come very, very few and in between. You might think you've got the rest of your life to make a decision. You don't. On almost anything in life, there's always fleeting opportunities, sliding doors. So when you see an opportunity that comes to you, like I had yesterday, and I went to take it and then got cut short, I can't tell you what it's about because it breaks my heart. Rob Kent knows, Lauren knows. It killed me. I had to say no to something after I was 100% committed to something, and that's very rare, you know. And it was a tough one. Megan, you okay there, doll? William Hannon, Armoured Vehicle Crew, fantastic. Got some interesting questions about people that wanted to go to Armoured Corps, and it was basically what happens in Armoured Corps now that we have mechanised and motorised in the battalions, all having their own vehicles to go to, already having them. Do they need CAV anymore? So what I think is, instead of being protected mobility, CAV are always a tactical call sign that shares the FEBA, Forward Edge Battle Area, with the infantry, 343. Okay, and they earn their hat badge. I think that they're going to go more towards a light armoured reconnaissance and fighting vehicle. And I think that's what they're going to do. And I've heard there's even the opportunity that they might even have some sort of crew that goes inside there that is able to work with default drills, etc., and also local protection. So interesting opportunities, a lot of money getting spent, a lot of evolution of the military, so to speak, to deal with the modern world as it adapts to politics. Lauren.
Yep, I'm too quiet. They say I'm too quiet.
That's okay. Well, I wasn't really giving her a chance to get a word in. It was like a bloody...
You can hear me or my audio's too quiet.
Oh, okay. I thought they meant it was like a Bulgarian wedding.
Yeah.
I can just hear you, Lauren. Oh, you could just hear her breathing. Yeah. Megan.
What? Okay.
Megan's just finished, I'm nearly finished year 12, currently 17. Would you recommend going to TAFE or getting some kind of qualification first? Or should I just focus on the defence, on ADF? Look, honestly, Megan, normally I would say come back at 18 and 19, but we are in a very competitive time to get in. At the moment is a valuable time for you to strike. You know, please don't go for infantry. But if you're going to go in there, I can't see anyone in the ADF, Australian Army, getting out of our domestic waters within the next year. So if I was you, I would go for it. And let's just see what they give you in return. But make sure you are ready. Please make sure that you are ready to go physically, mentally, you know, and show the girls how it's done. All right?
Kaz, there's a question here from Top 10 Clips. Can we talk about it? Because it touches on something I spoke to you about the other day. He said, hey, Kaz, started doing my workouts with a weighted vest and still not sure what battalion I prefer for infantry. Please help. Thanks. And I think it's a case of how about we just get you into a battalion?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is there wisdom in using a weighted vest, or people use it wearing weights while they're doing like marches and things like that?
And I'll address that right now. Rory K, I'm not sure if you're being facetious. He goes, how do you know Megan's a girl? Well, I've never met a man that's a Megan, but I've met plenty of women that are. And that's a nice name too. I am not for weighted vests when you're training for military. The reason is you are about to do everything with weight added to you. Your lower limbs on hard surfaces without direction really don't need the extra stress before you are absolutely dropped in the cauldron when the two most popular medical things that disqualify people from service is shin splints and compartment syndrome. And Stoddy knows all about those. And when they present at the School of Infantry, it can devastate soldiers and end their career like a Zyrtec. Okay? So I would say no to the weighted vest. Normally, a weighted vest, when you use that, that's going to put extra pressure on your lower limbs, you know, extra impact on your back. You know, myself, I'm 3 centimetres shorter now than what I was when I joined the Army. And Freddie, who just got out of the Army, has just found out yesterday when he was going through his DVA checks, they actually found 2 fractures in his back. that he's had for years, and he didn't even know it. And he was 5 centimetres shorter than what he is on his driver's license.
Gosh.
You know, the last thing you want to do, you want to protect yourself. You know, you want to have the right equipment, the right boots, joggers, you know, and equipment. Normally, by putting the weight on, it's not going to make any difference anyway, mate. Okay, you can still go hiking, you know, and that weight can come from a camelback, you know, being on your back. It could come from the little knapsack. We don't need to create weight to create tension and pressure on our lower limbs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because you might actually increase your chance of having a failure if you injure yourself before you get there.
Okay, he's matched that with saying specifically runs, so don't do it for runs. Okay, wait till you get in, and then if you want to do it, then do it, because then you'll have the proper direction. Push-ups and pull-ups. The reason why you put a weighted vest on for things like pull-ups and for chin-ups is when you can do so many that you're in the endurance phase, which is muscular endurance, which is more than 12 reps. So you better be able to do more than 12 reps. And then that's bringing it back to hypertrophy, because what you're actually trying to achieve there is adding extra resistance to give you more of a corn chip, wide shoulders, lats, etc. That you're actually trying to go for body shape, image, rather than actual performance. But there's also strength benefits to that too. If you can do 25 chin-ups, good. Keep doing 25 chin-ups. You're not going to hurt yourself. You'll fall off the bar. There's no dramas with wearing the weight vest for dips, for chin-ups. But just understand what you're going for. You're going for muscular endurance. If not, then get them out. You know, yeah. But it's up to you. Do a bit of both. I bet you do that. But I wouldn't run in, mate. Well done on bringing that up, please. Don't go infantry. Why?
No, they were talking about, I think you were telling Megan.
Yeah, look.
I think if people want to know about that, you have talked about that an awful lot. You've got some great videos addressing it. Perhaps they should check out the back catalogue.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those also were, we lost them on the last channel. All I'll say is I'm a subject matter expert in infantry and was for 24 years. I've done 4 tours overseas. I know that females, there is an agenda for positive affirmation, to right the wrongs, to be able to bring equality, etc. It's not there. It's not there. You know, I have been to a lot of positions where I've seen more than what I'm going to tell you. And let's just say it's not a good option. You know, it doesn't work out. Yeah. So I'm protecting you, not hurting you. I've got a daughter. I love women. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that. Megan's cool. We see her all the time. You know, there's lots of Kazettes out there.
Yeah. Kaz said don't go to infantry if you're currently applying. If you're a lady, they're going to tell you, well, yep, go for it. But guess what? They're not going to be there. And when you realise what infantry really is, seeking out, close the enemy, kill or catch them, seize and hold ground, repel, attack by day and night, regardless of season, weather, terrain. There's no tapping out if you realise, oh shit, now I know what Kaz meant.
Yeah, I feel like once their quota is met, they've gotten what they want out of you. It doesn't really matter to them if you fail or not.
Nope.
You've already done what you needed to do for them, and that was meet the quota.
Night Dusty William, let me guess, you were a cadet. What's going on? Back squatted and potentially a transfer.
Someone's asking, in fact, talking about William's down here asking, hey Lauren, can Kaz explain back squatting, please?
Okay. Basically what happens is, team, you got to remember, and I've discussed this before, there's only one way or 3 ways that you can get a negative, what would you call it, training experience. Because everyone has been tested for medically and they've said, yes, you can physically do it. They have said intellectually you can pass an aptitude test, problem-solving capability, yes, you can do it. Maturity is ticked off, pseudo, during the assessment stage. Okay, from there, what they're going to do is ask to see psychologically, are you good to go? They make a decision based on your responses to that, yes, you're good to go. From there, they do a PFA to say, can you meet the minimum standards of what it takes to unzip a sleeping bag, stand up, do a squat, and then make it to the meal point and back again safely? Yes, you can do that. So when you actually get to the training facility that is Kapuka, okay, then what happens from there is if you get back squatted, there's only a few things that can happen. It can be for trainability, that for some reason you're unable to pick it up. There can be psychological, you are too immature to be able to take criticism, understand it, or may even have a personality disorder. Wait 2 seconds, Lenny. Nutsu cow. Legislate Lenny. No, that's Larry. Sorry, mate. I'll just get on this roll. So also what can happen is you can end up doing something that gets you disciplinary action, can get you removed. If you are found to be someone who cannot pass a test, you'll be given retraining and then you'll be retested. If you cannot pass a retest, you'll be back squatted. And what that means is, if you join the Army and you join with 11 platoon, hallway 11, and you get in there and you get back squatted, then what will happen is you will go back to, kicked out of that platoon, and you'll go all the way back to the next platoon that's behind you. If it's for injury, you might go to equivalent to Digger James, where you go back because you've been injured, rehabilitated, and either withdrawn from the Army, okay, or you'll be rebuilt. Steve Austin, the $20 million man. Humpty Dumpty, Tarzan superglue. Can you do it? And then what will occur is, and then what they'll do is they'll put you back in the next feasible platoon, depending on how long you've been away for, okay, and you'll be back in that group. Got to make friends again. Yeah, you are big brother. You are the intruder then. And depending on what you were back squatted for, they're going to want to know is the way you get treated. Okay? If it is because you couldn't work with others, that's not good. So back squatted can happen at Kapuka. Back squatted can happen at the School of Infantry, the School of Armour, the School of Artillery, the School of Engineers, because you don't have the technical clout, because you just can't keep up with the level of learning, or you fail multiple times on the same subject, or there's a disciplinary matter. Okay, so back squatted means kicked out of the group you're in and you go back to the group before and you've got to repeat everything that you did up to that point again. And then the anxiety that comes to those people, this is where I fell short last time. Please don't let it happen again. Yep. It's a horrible thing. It's horrible for instructors. Okay, it's a horrible thing for the candidate. It's a reality check to the group that realise, holy shit, at any day, I am one mistake, okay, from starting that anxiety trip. Am I going to pass? And that is why people do exactly what they're told at Kapuka and exactly what they're told at the School of Infantry, Engineers, Steel Barracks, Armour, etc. That's why you do what you're told.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. JJ, there he is, the Submariner. Recruitment tried to tell me in as clearance tried to get me in as a clearance diver today. Apparently there are 30 free spots. Professional push-uppers, stick with subs, mate.
Yeah, I reckon too.
The 550 stoddy. Yeah, I reckon that'd be amazing. People are going to think bullshit when they go, what do you do for a living? You go, I'm a submariner. Okay, you mean you work at Subway? No.
I've met submariners and it's cool. They're cool people.
It's cool as hell.
Yeah.
JC, do Army barracks have gyms? Come on, surely that's not a question. Who said that? They've got state-of-the-art gyms. They're fantastic.
Look, we've got a lot of young people in the chat tonight, so let's just try and be a bit patient. It's okay. Yes, they've got gyms, right?
JJ, I think that you are the only guy that shouldn't have to be able to swim. Because if you need to swim and you're a submariner, you've got more problems in your swimming.
Something's really wrong. Yeah.
Go to Kursk. For those people that are a bit younger that don't know about it, one of the most tragic things that happened in our recent history was when a worldwide event occurred, and that was when the Kursk went down. It was a Russian submarine, and they would not let international help, yet it was only 4 meters. 4 meters from the surface. That it was on its tip.
It was tragic.
And they could hear the people in there, trying to tink, tink, tink.
Widows talking, and it's heartbreaking.
Yep, and it basically came down, no, they're not to be helped. How do the gym facilities work at Singleton, Kaz? Hard jacket, you won't be allowed to use them. You have a state-of-the-art facility and you have state-of-the-art PDIs, and they have a program designed to get you through intelligent training to a level without being injured, i.e. equal back squad for logical training, because they know what's coming next. So don't try and hamper that. You want to do some push-ups in Kapuka? By all means, do that. Pretend the floor's your wife on an off-pay week in a gold town and there's nothing else to do. Push-ups. But don't hijack it. When you go to the School of Infantry, you can use the swimming pool. It's heated, so they say. Righto? And you can go there and speak politics. You can have group meetings. You can go there just to be out left alone. You can do that for impact free. You can do that for cool downs from a hard day's training, especially after doing unarmed combat. It's a good one. But do remember that I used to piss in the pool there.
Oh, God.
I've never seen a guy get out of a swimming pool to go to the toilet.
Okay, do you realise the sort of picture you're painting for me? Blankets, bedding that's never been washed,
That's why we're the 1%ers.
Come on now.
One-shot films. Well, you have to put a preference in for what battalion you wish to push for. Yep. I'm going to tell you straight. I always recommend 1 RR, 2 RR, 3 RR, and then I go to 6 RR, and then 5, 7, 8, 9. That's my picks. That's my picks.
I've got another question here,
Yep.
Kaz, from William, who's being a very helpful member tonight,
Yep.
by the way. He's helping out a lot of the younger folk. Says, hey, Lauren, in case Kaz doesn't see, is enlistment and attending Kapuka the same day?
Sorry?
Is enlistment, the enlistment day, and attending Kapuka, are they the same day?
Yes.
It is, right. That happens on the same day.
Okay, and I'll quickly explain that. Thank you very much, Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens is when you go for your enlistment day is going to be, say, the 21st. You'll actually be there at the 20th. And you're going to stay at a hotel, not Manta, because that's a sea creature. But it's not the one that's responsible for Steve Irwin. That's a stingray.
I knew where you were.
And they've got nice wings, like old ladies that play darts. And anyway, well, they're not going to be watching, are they? And anyway, so what happens is if you were going in on the 21st, on the 20th, you'll be staying at the Mantra. The next morning, if you had family in that location, what would happen is you would go down there the morning of enlistment and you will sign papers for oath or affirmation, Queen or God. And from there, what will occur is you'll have a couple of minutes after that to then say goodbye to your family. Can't do that because of today's situation at the moment. And then from there, you'll be put on the bus, as they would say in England, straight to Kapuka. Okay? But what would occur is, for those that go on the 21st, then normally on the 22nd, the next day, is depending on where you come from in Australia, you'll be met up with the rest of your platoon. So there's 2 days that make up each platoon, and they will get their oath or affirmation out the way, but they'll all head to Kapuka at the same time. You don't even get a haircut, I don't believe, on the first day you get there. So when you go to the mess hall, you're the only hippies in the mess hall. Training for artillery. Mate, are you able to tell me a little bit more about training for artillery? Honestly, it's not my bag. It's not my thing. I wasn't artillery. But I dare say it's a lot about squats. I dare say a lot of it is about moving heavy machinery. They had, if not the second hardest PESA, if not the hardest PESA that we used to do for your core training. It's a hard course. It's very, very physical. It's something you can perfect. There's different positions on the gun. I don't know much about it, but there's a lot of specialisation in it, mate. You'll find out.
There's another good question here from Carl Janelle. I don't know if I've seen his name before.
Hey, Carl.
He says, hey, Kaz, I'm 42 and thinking of joining the Army Reserves. I train regularly. Do you think I'm too old?
No, you're not too old. And if you had have said that you wanted to join the regular army and go to infantry, I'd say you're too old. But you're not too old to join the regular army and go to, the Army Reserve and go to infantry, because the reason why people join the reserves in the first place is because they are academically and working wise, they are already committed to some sort of normally specialised profession. Okay, there's a reason why they can't commit to going to the regular army. Therefore they tend to go there. So there's a really big bell curve between the ages and reasons why people join. And they're normally balancing that with family, with work, or with special needs of family, etc. So it is a perfect way to be able to assist with whatever your primary breadwinning for the family career you have. I'd say go for it, mate. If you want to go for Cav, good. If you want to go for Cav Scout, you can do that. You want to go for infantry, do that. I reckon Army Reserve Infantry is the go, because not only won't you have anything to work on other than weapons and PT, it's just creating stories, talking shit, and living life. I reckon that's awesome. Go for it, mate. Yeah. Tell you what, Lopez, my enlistment is on the 7th of September. That's close. That means I have a quarantine for 2 weeks. That's fine. Because remember, guys, don't feel sorry for yourselves. You'll be doing exactly what everyone else is doing. And guess what? You're getting paid to do it in the uniform that you wanted to wear. You might have been in tracksuits.
Yep.
Kaz, you're probably my favourite thing to watch when I'm on the dunny.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome. But don't consider me red tube.
Oh, my, please.
How do you know what that was?
What? Oh, yeah, because I don't
She's
know
got sons.
Yeah, right. I've got a question here for you.
Yeah.
From Always in Green. Hey, Kaz, a friend of mine prepared for the PFA by aiming for the BFA. Is this a good idea?
Well, absolutely. Because the PFA is easier than the BFA. You don't train for a PFA by doing, which is the pre-enlistment fitness assessment, by doing the basic fitness assessment, which will happen once you get to your units, etc., or singleton, for example. You train by doing cardio, by doing 2.4 runs, by doing 5K runs, and you do those to intensity, by doing 1 mile runs to intensity. And then when it comes to that, you should pass it, no dramas at all. But one thing I will tell people is when you train for the beep test, look at my videos and look at all the hot tips for don't completely go over the line. Your foot just has to match it. Control your breathing. Get beside someone who looks less fit than you. And then you can say, I will crush this guy or gal, in order to get what I want. Because remember, it's a competition. Everything you do in the military is a competition. If you don't believe me, look what happens to the person who's the slowest. Look what happens to the person that can't shoot the least. Look at the person who falls out of field. There is an expectation that you do take some knocks. That you don't go to the OP. You don't get out of things just because you're sore. There's a massive difference between sore and that of being injured. The guys are about to go into the defensive week in the School of Infantry, and they will dig for more than 36 hours without sleep. They are about to go through a long, painful experience digging in to try and get to stage 3, feeling like they're not getting anywhere on this hard ground. And they will feel like their hands are going to drop off. And we don't care how much blood's on your hands. Don't give a shit. Might even laugh at it. Go and piss on them. I do that. There's no politics when someone gives you solutions. It's what works. This works. I'll do it. What about a female that's about to have a baby? Okay, I'm just putting this one to pain, Lauren. Is there any modesty anymore when you're in that position where you're going? Yeah.
No, on the maternity ward, you leave your dignity at the door and you can pick it back up when you go home.
Yeah.
Because that's just not going to fly. There's business has to be done.
Yep. And in a pack march, you don't tell people your shoulders are hurting. When you're in the rain, you don't tell people you're cold. You suck it up and you don't be the first one to complain. Because the first person to complain about how cold they are, shivering, shifting with their pack, that tells me, I'm not feeling as bad as that guy. And I'll use him like the canary in the cave. And after that, I go, okay, You know, I don't need to bitch and whinge because that guy's going to say it before I do. And then when he loses his shit and gets torn apart by the rank, I go, he just said exactly what I wanted to say. Thank you, mate. I got that one for free. Look who's here. Sebastian White, the recipient of the meme of the month for Patreon.
There you go.
We've got the shirt. We made a shirt today, Lauren. You know, I've ordered 2 of exactly the same one. I was going to send one to his dad as well. But what's occurring is that shirt is going to come here. I'm going to look at it to make sure that they haven't butchered it.
Yeah. We're still in the end stages of the design process, really.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's coming, Sebastian. Why? It's ordered. It's on the way.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. It's on the way. Hey, I've got a question, but you have to. It's going to be a serious, hard truth that you're going to have to give this person.
Okay.
Can you just?
Yes.
Okay. We need to address this. It gets asked a lot. What are the odds of an 18-year-old getting in the direct entry scheme for like the Commandos or the SAS, please? What are the odds? What's the chances of this happening?
I would say that you're giving yourself the very hardest path to getting in Special Forces. Would someone in Special Forces say the same as that? Don't know. I don't know. But they don't have any, They don't have any dog in the fight there. They're already there. What I would tell you is when you are 18, you're already battling with maturity and growing into adulthood. You know, you are going to be competing against people that have come from the 1st Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion, 5th Battalion, 6th Battalion, 7th Battalion, and the 8th, 9th Battalion. You are dealing with these guys to go to commandos. They already know the language. Okay, they already know the weapons. They already know the people that are there. And they already know who they are because they've met failure in every aspect of the role, understanding that commandos are just advanced infantry. They might not be saying that, but that's what they are. They're advanced infantry. That's what their job is. And the reason why I say that is they also do our subject courses as they get promoted, and they also have to be infantry before they go there. So what I'm saying to you is, if you have the choice of doing either, what I recommend is you have a very hard choice to go there. If they're saying to you there's something about you, because all I hear is 18.
It can be done for sure, right? But I think people have to understand it's not common.
And we want you to enjoy the ride too. We want you...
And we want you to be the best. We want the best there, right? So, you know, getting a few years experience in the infantry is probably going to make you a better soldier. You know, at the end of the day, I'd say so. I've got another question for you.
Yep.
This one's totally different. Kaz and Lauren, what's something I could do for the defence personnel coming to my school tomorrow to show them my thanks rather than just say thank you?
Simply give them your attention. Ask them a good question. That's all you have to do, so they feel like they haven't wasted their time. We don't even, to tell you the truth, we don't care if people don't appreciate our service.
No, when we say thank you for your service, it's more about us wanting to do a bit to let you know that we appreciate it. It's more for us, the civilian, than what it is for you guys, because you don't do it for that.
Yeah. Jamie's, and say good day to him. Speak frankly. This is your chance to speak without rank, speaking to someone who's got no rank, you know, reacting to what they get told. Sorry, I just read at the same time there that Jamie was saying... I'm not sure if he thought I was having a go at him. And it was in reference to Jamie, infantry reserve versus full-time infantry. I've heard the bar is lower for reserve entry. Of course it has to be. Of course the bar is going to be lower for people that aren't preparing for conflict in an operational environment with no notice when the glass smashes because a politician says, now I've made a mistake, now you go and clean it up. The training they get does not go as long. It doesn't mean it's not intense, but intense is also a perception. You know, the training can seem extremely intense, especially when it's raining in winter. You know, some of the best courses I ever had were Army Reserve courses for leadership. People coming as corporals to be sergeants and for lieutenants, etc. You know, everyone is different, but the training, doesn't go as long. It's not given as much focus, because they are not the ones at the sharp end. right? It's a tough one. It depends on the unit you go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bubonic clown. Could you get a better name than that?
That's a great name.
It's a great name.
I hope it's social distancing.
Hey, Kaz, can you talk about the direct entry officer versus after a few years as an infantryman to officer? You won't go into officer after a few years, mate. You don't get that choice. You can't just swing around through jobs, even if they say you can. You can't do that. I'll give you an example. To go in and become an officer, you go into what they call is a cohort, which is going to be the group of soldiers based on an infantry company that you go into to be able to do your training at RMC. Okay, they make a serious bond in that 18 months. They know exactly who is the alpha, who are the betas, where people fit in, who was good, who was not, who was pathetic. You know, they don't like people coming into their midst that haven't been tested, that no one knows anything about them. You know, they're a different part of the military. They have a different outlook at training. They have professional arrogance. They're normally always high IQ, which means they've got a funky way of looking at things that doesn't always mesh with straight up and down thinkers.
Yeah, abstract thinking.
They want to be the boss. Do you want to be the boss? I don't want to be the boss. So I'm going to think differently to the person that wants to be the boss, that feels like they're being watched, that thinks whatever they say, if I dare tell the truth, will I get to my end result? And what is more important, my moral courage or my end state where I make it? If it's the end state where they make it, well, guess what? They're not going to be afraid to go around who can get them there. Whereas the soldier, the most honest person on earth, is the guy with a rolled up cigarette, a piece of salami in his hand, going, you said we had 5Ks to go, 5Ks to go. Are you effing lying to me?
Lies.
You know, punching out someone who made him work harder. You know, they don't give a shit about anything.
All right, you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Marshall Media says, hi, Kaz and Lauren, any advice for the interview on assessment day?
Yes, I just made a whole video just for that.
There you go.
You know, it's the 10 questions ones. It's
Yep.
5 days old, and that's to ask you the questions that you ask yourself that you can practice with friend,
It's
family,
great
or yourself.
production. It's a great production. That's exactly where Marshall should go. Check that one out.
Yep.
For sure. I can't remember the name of the video. Do you remember?
10 questions, I think it was called.
There you go.
Yeah, Australian Army 10 questions. B-Stubs, the fastest way to officer from enlisting as a recruit is through the band corps. I didn't know that. Fast way to an officer from enlisting as a recruit is through the band corps. But it takes a long time to be band corps because you've got to play more than one instrument and you've got to be proficient. Well done. There's SSOs as well, which they go for just a year, I think. No, they can go for less. You know, because they've got some specialty that we need within the military to attract them in.
Okay, Kaz, we've got a question here from Marley.
Okay.
Hey, Kaz, I'm a small guy. I'm 5'4", 60 kilos, 18 years old. How will I cope as an infantry soldier, and what should I do to train? He's enlisting in February 2021.
You'd make a great cabin boy.
Hey,
Mate,
hey,
look, 5'4". Okay, it's going to feel like you're marching a lot longer than 5Ks. You just have to do with and make up for where you are deficient. One thing you're never going to say when you get on the helicopter or the planes we get on or the armoured vehicles is, I wish I had more leg room. So that's going to be an advantage to you.
yeah,
Mate,
ones.
you are shorter than what I was. I was 5'11", but I was 58 kilos. All I did was train and overcompensate and overtrain until that was no longer a negotiation. I was good to go.
Yeah, because everyone has their hurdles, right? And you've just got to, be your best self.
Yep, that's it. And we'll be able to see that. You go, this is what I have to offer. And you prove it through action. People are going to look at you and go, look at this guy. He came up short. Don't mind the pun.
Yeah,
but then all of a sudden, then you beat him in the 2.4.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're stronger, then you're quicker, then you're helping your mate. You're a better team member than he is. You just make yourself valuable, and you do it through capability-driven evidence. Yep.
Yep. Sorry, I'm reading down. I'm looking for your next question. This is fun.
It is. It's a good way of doing it.
I like playing secretary.
99% said, if I do a trade, do I still go to Kapuka? Yes, mate. You all go to Kapuka. Yep.
Sorry, I'm reading.
That's all right.
I'm reading the chat.
Is it true we only get one piece of bacon at Kapuka? Not anymore. Okay. No, that wasn't a question was asked, but I used to think about it.
But it might be something they want to know.
Oh, here we go. Someone's asked it. It gets asked every single one.
Where? What is it?
Someone's asked Jamie something about Aggies as opposed to infantry.
Okay.
All you've got to do there, team, is if someone thinks that Aggies are like infantry, all you got to do is look at the role of the Aggie, the Air Defence Guard, and look at the role of the infantry, put them over each other, and you'll see they have nothing in common. One protects a rectangle, one protects an area of operations, and we also protect Aggies. It's part of our job. Evidence? You want evidence? Okay. When we went to East Timor, we went in, we secured the location and the airfield. When it was toot sweet, good to go, then we gave it to the Aggies to be able to protect so that we could go off and then hunt for the wolf. Okay. And then we came back and said, hey, can we have a can of Coke for giving you a good spot? Right? Didn't get the Coke.
Okay.
What do you got?
What have I got? Okay, I've got one here. Hey, Kaz and Lauren, enjoying the stream so far. Glad to hear it, Hardjacker. My question is, I either want to go motorised or mechanised infantry after Singleton. Could you explain a bit about both?
It's every single battalion except for the 2nd Battalion, which still takes up the position of light infantry, despite the fact they have 4 recon platoons in 2 companies of 6 platoons. So this is what's going to happen, motorised and mechanised. That determines the protected mobility and fighting vehicle that you'll be operating out of. So what happens is you'll have vehicles that are wheeled and you'll have vehicles that are tracked, motorised, mechanised. Okay, what happens when you get inside those vehicles, that will determine how you are tactically employed on the ground. All right? So your section, whereas before you used to have 9 men, and then they cut it back to 8 men, no matter what anyone tells me, that was for money purposes only. There is not a reason to do it other than financially. None. Okay, and what happened was that went to 8-man section, 2x5 teams, which means the section commander has to be on the forward line of troops with his guys rather than being back like the quarterback, like he's meant to be, giving orders and watching the battlefield unfold in front of him. But what happens now is you're going to have a vehicle that is part of that section of men. So all of your organic firepower is potentially going to come from that actual vehicle itself, with you operating in and around it the same way that Indians operated around an elephant as the first people to ever use combined arms. So your job is to protect the rhinoceros. The commander will not get out of the vehicle. Okay, he will have a driver. You know, the gunnery may come from the section commander as well, where he's higher and able to look down, okay, or even remote weapon stations. You know, I'm up to date with the current vehicle that they're doing, and I don't think anyone is moving so quickly. So, motorised, mechanised, no real difference, mate. Okay, yeah.
Okay, you want another one?
Yeah.
You're answering a lot of questions tonight. We're being this is a productive stream.
If you're enjoying this, can we get some hands of colour up?
Yeah.
You know, and 1 second. Honestly, guys, we give a lot to you guys. If you can, if you're not part of Patreon or membership, feel free to change the colour of your name and become a member today. You know, because we're hoping to continue to help people, especially this weekend when we're doing not just Jake tonight, but doing a marathon stream on Saturday to help a veteran who's not on a pension, who's down on his luck right now, and he's so proud he doesn't want to give me his bloody PayPal account.
Well, he can just give it to you.
That's what I'm telling him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This one's from Kynham Peppers.
Yeah.
There's odd question, but can or have people stored personal weapons on base? Recruitment said yes, but sounds unlikely.
No, it's exactly what happens.
Yep.
If you're part of, I'll give you an example. If you're part of Alpha Company, 1 platoon, and you have a civilian weapon and license, you will show your license. Your weapon that will then be put into the company armory along with the other service weapons. But that means for you to be able to use it, you need to go there and then sign it out and sign it back in, etc. And it also becomes part of the stock take when those occur of the civilian weapons that have been registered. If you have weapons registered to you and you were found to have them, not stored correctly when you have the ability to do so, you can get yourself into civilian infringements there. So make sure you do the right thing. It's different. When I joined, people had shotguns. They had equivalent to AK-47s with SKSs. They had M4 variants. They had Steyr equivalents. They had Spaz 12 shotguns in their beds, Anaconda pistols under pillows, all sorts of shit, crossbows.
Yeah, I know.
Nerf guns weren't around.
Yeah, exactly. It's official. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Jamie asks, is it true at Singleton you might get deprived of water?
No.
Right.
It is against the law, the military judicial system, the OH&S, the training continuum, to give you what can be confused as being kept back from water. What do we mean? You'll be told to drink a litre of water 40 minutes before you go to a PT session. Therefore, you don't need to have a drink of water. You think you are, you're thirsty, you don't need it. You will be told when to drink at times, and there'll be times where you are told you will not be getting a water resupply for the next 48 hours. That is why you are carrying 6 to 8 litres of water.
Yep.
You can't just go, I'm out of water.
Yep.
And then they go, there you go. Let's get you some. Yeah, okay, later. Yep. You need to make it last, and that is called water discipline, and it is absolutely essential. And I need to go into a story here quickly.
Go for it.
I was a 2IC of a section in East Timor, which always feels like it's 178 degrees. You feel like the chip in the vat at McDonald's. Now, our packs were getting between 60 kilos and upwards because we had to carry 20 litres of water, plus your body armour, plus your helmet, plus your weapon, plus your food, plus all of your equipment because we had no firm bases. Now, I remember going to an OP and I said, I just can't do it. I've lost so much weight. I feel trashed. I'm the 2IC. I get to set the speed a lot of the time and I'm the fittest in the section. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 14 litres. And that's all. So 6 litres I didn't take. This feature we went up didn't have a tree at all. None. It was like a cricket pitch. And we're just looking down and we were an overt OP, which meant it didn't matter if people knew we were there. We were there to shape the threat's movement. So they would see us and go, well, let's not get within there. So what we created was a giant pimple that they would have to go around and then walk into the space where another OP was overlapping with us to find out the comings and goings and the denial of movement in our area of operations, in our tactical area of operations. Now, when we went up there, our only function was to report patterns of movement that were happening in that area. So we got up there, and it was just picket after picket after picket and subscribing and binoculars in the sun where you could almost hear your brain going, I don't want to do this anymore. But you're on operations as a regular Australian infantry soldier. You're going there in the same place that the Anzacs fought in against the Japanese in World War II. You can't tap out because you're hot. You can't go, I'm the administration commander and I didn't bring any water. So I sat there, and because I realised what a rookie move it was and what a pussy I was for not carrying that weight, would have only been an extra 6 kilos. Everyone else looked like they're out of the Three Amigos, like pouring water over their face, and I'm there like, what does that feel like? That's beautiful. And I remember this headache came in that felt like I'd been kicked in the head by a horse with steel bloody shoes on, and I couldn't shake it. I was just, yeah,
If they got a headache, drink some water.
yeah, that's it. I still had 2 litres of water when I came off that hill because I was so intimidated of having to walk over to one of my own soldiers and go, can I have a drink? You don't do it. You're not allowed to drink each other's water.
Can we just clarify something you hear in the chat here, Kaz? Sorry, did you finish your story?
Yep, finished.
Good one. Okay, we've had a lot of people very kindly worried about our veteran friend and offering advocates and things like that to get him onto DVA. But I think maybe if you could just clarify that situation.
Okay.
It's a really difficult step for veterans to take, and also sometimes they aren't injured and they just are a bit down on their luck because of circumstances.
And that is the exact point that I was going to bring up.
Right.
You know, just because you had military service, that doesn't naturally segue to PTSD. Out of my 24-year career, there was only a few days that happened within that got through my armour, you know, and that was in Rwanda. Nothing else after that. Nothing. Didn't affect me in any way other than I should have taken more water. You know? So this guy, I don't think that would be the case with him. He has worked every day since that. He's one of the hardest working people. He's staunch. He's proud. You know, he can't just go there and go, hey, look, life sucks at the moment.
It's fun. Yeah, exactly right. You know, and but it's very nice of everyone to care, and it'd be great if they could all rock up on Saturday and, you know, give $1.
Yeah.
Would be fantastic.
It's such a tough one when you love a dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
To be able to reach out and help someone who is actually starting to help himself.
And that's exactly when you should help someone.
That's right. Not when they're still falling.
No, exactly right, because if they haven't hit rock bottom, you know, it can be difficult. Okay, I've got another question for you if you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabe Carrigan has asked, my question for Kaz is any advice for a young bloke wanting to enter into Duntroon? And he's added ASAP. I don't know if he wants you to answer the question ASAP or if he wants to join Duntroon ASAP.
Okay, well, Duntroon means you're going to go in there and do a university degree, and I really hope that you're going to do a degree that's something to do with your military career because you're never going to come back to that university degree potentially. So if you're going to go in there, you need to be able to show how you can segue that into something that's also going to be good for military, good for you, and something that you can continue for the rest of your life until you are a subject matter expert in that and can functionally use it within the military. So find a degree you want to do. Okay, and then what you need to do is you're assuming that you can even go to Duntroon. You may not have the scores that they would accept you. You still have to do an OSB equivalent, an officer selection board. You need to be able to score high enough on a general entry test for them to say, you want to go for officer, okay, we need to talk to you. Why do you want to do it? Give me an example of any leadership you've done in the past. You know, they're going to say, have you ever been the captain of a team? Have you been the captain of a school? Do people come to you in the absence of leadership and direction and say, hey, mate, you're the kind of guy I want to follow when no one else is around? That's leadership.
Yep.
You need to have that. You need to know who are famous leaders that you wish to model your ability on. Is there anyone? Yep. If not, is there something wrong with your personality? Is there an arrogance? Is there a disorder? Is there a narcissistic flavour to your personality? I don't know. Why do you want to be the boss? Why do you want to be the captain of the ship and not a supporter? Just want to know. Do you know you get rid of a lot of the fun? If you want to be Caesar, then you don't get to do what the diggers get to do. Yep.
Yeah, and it's competitive too. Again, I just tell everyone, please don't count your chickens before they've hatched. You know, it is competitive. Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a interesting question. It's from Daz. Evening, Kaz and Lauren. Hope all is well. Hey, if soldiers are allowed personal weapons on base, are they allowed to use them on exercises or missions?
Nope.
Or is it more to pass down time?
No, you can't take them with you. Yeah. You know, we're only allowed to use service weapons. We're only allowed to use service ammunition. Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Yep, because we are a uniformed representative of the country. Oops.
Exactly. Professionals, and it has a professional standard, and for it to be a professional standard, there has to be a consistency in the tools used.
Yep. And let's see how good you are at whatever that tool, and you'd have to ask, what capability would that give? What added capability? Because you've got to remember, if you've got a weapon that fires a long distance, you still need fields of fire. If you have something that hits hard, you've still got to look at, are we going to be using that in an environment where we need that? You're going to be in the jungle where that's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Different weapons suit different theatres. I do have to call my daughter. Wait 2 seconds, team. Lauren, can I give her a quick call?
Yeah.
Wait 2 seconds. I've got to just hang up for a sec.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's excellent. Looking out for the little one. I didn't see the time then. We've got some bad news for their Auntie Kay at the moment. We just found out today she's probably going to lose her life. She's, I think, 99, I think. Oops. 2 seconds. So, a great life, holding up the bat for the Auntie Kay. I don't personally know her, but, the stories they have, amazing. SOS, g'day, mate. Not so cow. I'm thinking of JJ getting out of that submarine and wondering if he can swim far enough. Hey, Kaz, I'm at work tonight, so I'll have to watch this later.
Hi.
Hey, hello, how you going? That's why we fight.
You're done. No more.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Darling, I just running up to say goodnight. Did you want to say hello to everyone?
Yeah.
Go on. Say hello, Jake.
Hi.
What about to Jake? He got some
Hi.
bad news. He hurt himself. Can you say hello, Jake?
Hi.
Jake?
Jake.
Yeah. Hi, guys and gals. Got to go to bed.
Yeah, got it.
I love you. Can you ask Mum if you're allowed to go to McDonald's for breakfast tomorrow?
I don't want it.
Good girl. Good answer. All right, darling. I love you very much.
Love you too.
And guess what?
Bye.
I'm going to eat your twisties.
Okay.
Okay. All right, darling. Good night.
Good night. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
See? Someone loves me. Thanks, SOS. Wait 2 seconds, Tim. Guys and gals, something weird happens to you when you have a kid. All of a sudden, all your selfishness disappears and your soulmate becomes your little one. It's fantastic.
She's so lovely.
She is. She sounded hammered.
I like her sass.
Yeah, she'll even try to. She'll have a problem with telling me she loves me on Father's Day. That's.
Oh, yes, which is this Sunday.
Hey, Damien.
So if everyone hasn't got their dad a present, they need to get out and get one.
Yep, and if anyone knows any beautiful ladies that have problems with father figures, I'm willing to be their daddy. So,
good heavens!
Oh, Jesse, g'day, mate.
I've got a great question from Jesse. Look at that one.
Yeah, it is one. Hey, Kaz, what's the story, a history behind the red sash? Your sergeants wear. It's funny you say that because my sash is an uber special one, and I'll tell you why. Wait 2 seconds. Fetch it. There it is. Stop looking. The red sash is worn by infantry. Infantry sergeants and warrant officers wear it. Okay, this is the red sash. This was worn by a man named Ron. Ron was in the Battle of Kapiong. Samashon in the Korea. That is where the Australians fought and got left behind. Okay, got left behind by some Americans. And they nearly had a gunfight when they came back. Samashon is the battle honour for the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, second to none. And they got that in Korea. So the sash is worn when we're in our ceremonial attire, and it signifies infantry. And what happened was during the Napoleonic times, the British used to have a white rag that was used to drag wounded and dying soldiers back from the front line of formations. It was white. By the end of the fight, it would be red. So this signifies the platoon sergeant's office, and they get to wear that. Sadly, they get to wear it at RMC as officers, and they don't deserve to wear it. They should not be allowed to wear that at all. They're not infantry. They haven't earned it. Everyone in infantry has earned it by the time you get to platoon sergeant. And to get into the into the sergeant's mess is one of the most exclusive clubs in the world. Because one, you have to be a service member, and then you have to stay in long enough to get the rank that is sergeant, and it should not be mixed up with sergeant rank in the US. That can mean at squad level and below. All right? They have a lot of sergeants. Hey, Mr. Buckaroony, how you going, mate? One of the best channels on YouTube.
Yeah, it's great. Everyone should sub to Mr. Buckaroony.
He's great.
Kaz,
Yep.
Mr. J has a question about people that wear glasses in the ADF. Now, I've met people who were in the ADF who had glasses or then went and got it lasered. Some of them, like they were practically birth control glasses, but they were still in the ADF. Is that still the case? Can people with glasses still serve?
I honestly don't know the answer to that, because when I got in, like Trump, I had 20/20.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that it's like there's a massive difference between having flat feet in the army to flat feet before you get in the army. Because there's situations that happen from service. I honestly don't know the glasses one. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think maybe
Stoddy would know.
Just try.
Yeah, just try it. Stoddy would know. And it depends what you're going to go and do too. They might go, okay, yes you can, but they're with limitations on cause, or yes you can, but we require that you say yes to laser surgery, etc. Yep.
Yeah, it might not be a problem, because I believe there's, even been snipers who wore massive glasses and then got laser and was fine.
And we got an awesome answer straight away. Maddie Shepherd, looking after the herd. Yes, I have glasses, and they said it wasn't a problem.
Yep. Thanks, Maddie.
Well done, mate. Yeah. Okay, Michael Stott. Yeah, the green puggaree is a badge of office that's worn by one RAR, and you will know when you see one RAR, because I'll have a green puggaree on their slouch hat. But someone said before that they've been told at the moment they cannot wear that green puggaree, and I don't know why, and I haven't heard that.
That's interesting.
But I will be looking into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Jesse, it is a cowboy shirt. It was donated by one of our lovely subscribers and channel family, and I'm also a cowboy supporter. Yep. Yeah. How are we going, team? Do you need more? Do you want more?
Yep. Any more questions? Anybody?
Oliver Twist, do you need some more? Remember, Friday is not going to be a stream, because it would not be fair or cottonmouth causing for me to do a stream on Friday followed by an 8-hour stream on Saturday. If you have any questions, then you can come in and see this guy going through what looks like a talking-induced cottonmouth stroke.
Oh, come on now.
And you know what? I've got something else for you. And something else for you too, Lauren. If you need something in your life to keep Alzheimer's away, if you want to play something and you're too embarrassed to say Fortnite, if you want to play Battlefield but you're not happy, there's no more uploads, there's no more material coming back out, I've got something for you right here. You need this if one day you're going to serve. I'm going to take you to Nam. Not quite, but something similar. Here we go. Yeah. Listen to that. Back squad. Seatbelt. 50. That's a depleted company. Conquering historical battlefields in 1920 by 1080p.
Hey, come out. Can we get
With blue dots on your head.
Push it up north.
heads up,
And we can building up like infrastructure further behind so we have fallback positions.
Lucas, I need protection from the infantry. There's flanking us from behind.
Shoot them down.
Hey, TG.
Tracing run and bombing run are both
That's Donnie.
Looks good.
It's been there for a year. This is hell let loose, and yeah,
I love it. It looks good.
yeah. But you get hit in that, you go down. You know, you get hit once in the center sea mass, you're done. Does the Australian Army wear berets like the British? Yeah, they do, mate. They do wear the always in green. Great to have you here. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, team.
Yep. Same from Ed Robertson underneath them, who I've never seen here before. Are there many short people, say under 170 centimetres in infantry?
There's some, but they're rare. They're rare. Well, they used to be, you know, a height restriction for military as well as for police, yeah, and firemen, etc. That's slowly come down as women have come into different corps. They've had to drop that standard and got asked the questions. If not, why not?
Well, fair enough. If they're going to be letting ladies in, the same rules should apply.
Yeah, and people probably said, "Hey, how come you can't be this short?" Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, Kaz, are there plans to increase US forces in Australia? Sanchez. That's an interesting point, because if they did, what is the message it's saying? I think it's sort of telegraphing what we're all thinking. That's what I think it would be doing. Yeah, mate, I don't know. I believe that the military in the US is actually downsizing. The reason is, with the upgrade of weapon systems, etc., you don't need as many people to be kinetically on the ground, okay, as what you do with precision weapon systems, smart weapon systems, intelligence, location devices, etc. Because you've got to pay them, and each person you've got to pay. You've got to pay for their bullets, you've got to pay for their wages, you've got to pay for their uniforms, you've got to pay for their medical, you've got to pay for their retirement, you've got to pay for their equipment, you've got to pay for the equipment that carries them, and everyone who commands them. So it is extremely expensive. It's a major part of GDP. And maybe we need to, in Australia, I'm sad. Yeah, I remember you, mate. And you need to remember that we can swell to an impossibly large size that quick if we need to. And that is something that the civilian world doesn't understand. That your position and your political view, okay, doesn't matter if the glass breaks and our home soil is actually threatened. And you know what? We wouldn't have a problem in Australia with getting those said people say oath or affirmation. No problem at all. Australia is still, I believe, the best country in the world.
I agree.
But people are trying to confuse us that it's not. It is. What it is, in the absence of a real threat, you know, to our children, to our life, we become softer. And then when the situation occurs, we need to become harder, and we pay a price until we get the calluses back. So,
Yep.
yeah. The wood.
Okay. You ready for another question?
Yeah.
Do you think the Australian Defence Force will grow? And that's from Cougar.
I think it should grow. I do. But this is attached to money. And again, we'll just talk about that.
Do you think it will grow?
Well, it hasn't been growing. That's the thing. It has not been getting bigger with our population rising. Nowhere near it. I think there is room for potentially 50,000. An organisation of 50,000 people in Australia that don't get trained in weapons.
Yeah, and I think it's a good possibility that it will grow with the economical situation we're in now. It would be a great way to create jobs.
Yep. And it couldn't hurt to have 50,000 people somewhere between Army Reserve and the regular Army, where they don't necessarily need to be trained in weapon systems, where they could have a specific uniform that is not the Australian Army uniform that they wear, so they can't be confused with what is going on with our regular forces who do this every day, 24/7, preparing for the war. Now, these people could be there so that the military can continue to do their job and train for the front. But these 50,000 people could be, we've got fires on Kangaroo Island. Okay, how many of these guys do you need? We've got flooding in North Queensland. How many of them do you need?
Exactly.
And they could be in areas in every state, in every town. And what happens is they can muster, but they have a role within certain areas.
Yep.
I am disgusted that Australia doesn't have a single thing, a piece of infrastructure that our school kids can be proud of. There is not the Bradford scheme. There is not a bridge. There is not something that is being created that every single state is unified on and excited to watch the growth of it. Harbour Bridge. Let's create something. If there was something that cost $10 billion, right, but it made everyone go, ooh, let's look at that and take our focus and be excited. Something that can inspire people to become an engineer. Something that can make people proud to be Australia. Something that puts Australia back on the map. Something that takes long enough to build that you remember the day that it was finished. It'd be fantastic. I'd love that. I'd donate money to it. Have it part source, money go to it.
Yeah, I think we should start building inland. Let's use our innovation and spend some money and, get inland a bit more.
I reckon there's areas in Australia. G'day, Yarrow. Say, go, mate. It exists. It's the NBN. I would love to see an experimental city start from scratch.
Yeah, me too.
In the Badlands. Where people like Always Is Green go, that's it. That's tall everywhere. Always Is Green, 200 centimetres. I would love to see...
Is there a height limit? Is there too tall for the infantry?
Well, there would be, because there'd be a time when you're the height you are because you've got something medically wrong with you.
But like gigantism.
Gigantism or something.
Other problems. Yeah, exactly. So it depends. If it's a genetic disorder, then yes, it might be a problem.
Emma C was saying, Jesse, my school turns down defence from coming in and says it's not a real job. Completely agree with you. Emma, you should let me know what that school is.
Yeah, they just need educating. Like we said, that's a teaching moment. Sometimes teachers and educators need educating.
And teachers had better be careful what they call a real job, because our students tend to be going a fair way downhill in the rankings of other countries, and teachers have to be held accountable for that. So they'd better be careful they don't look outside that glass house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly right.
Bring back national service. Well, that's it. Sanchez, that's a tough one, man, because do you give, what sort of national service do you give someone if they're morbidly obese? You know,
or if they're, yeah, exactly. Or if they're just criminal. You can't trust them with innocence.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
You're protecting the innocence of people, and you can't just trust anyone with that. I saw one. Brandon Gold, 1993, asked, how old is too old to join infantry, in your opinion?
I look at this not from the perspective of a platoon sergeant or a platoon commander. I look at this as from the perspective as a soldier. And I would say, if I was 18 and 19 and I've got in, I don't want someone over 30 serving beside me in a regular infantry battalion joining at that time. There's a massive difference between serving with someone who's 30 years old who's been in since I was 24 or been in since I was 26. And there's a massive difference between being 30 or 40 in Infantry Army Reserve. But for the guys whose sole job is to go from to be preparing for the wolf, I think there is too much of a difference between the maturity levels between a 30-plus-year-old man who's coming to infantry unless there's a specific thing to offer. The last thing you want is someone that's continually questioning orders to someone who is on a mature, completely separate wavelength to the rest of the crowd, because you have to actually bond as well. But at the same time, there is outliers. There is reasons why people weren't there before that. And you would ask that person, whatever age they were, why do you actually want to join infantry? And if you wanted so badly, why didn't you do it before now? Okay,
Yeah.
so it'd become a conversation that would be had at the assessment stage. But what we should never do is say this, that, like you can be in the army enlisting up to 55, I think it is. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the group should have to care about your feelings and go, oh yeah, come to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone should be treated as a case by case.
Yeah, it comes back to what you were saying before. Do you want to be that slowest person?
Yeah. Huey, 26. Now, 26, 27 is a great age for commandos. Great age for SASR too. There's benefits. Yeah. I'm 32, people think I'm 25. Dude, Huey, old helicopter from Nam days. I'm 49 and I feel like I'm 17, but with a body of Yoda. So
Oh, come on.
so my body feels broken, But it's a complex question, especially when you don't know the person at all and how they would fit into that sort of scenario. But I wish you good luck. Be ready for that conversation. Be ready for the questions that are going to come your way.
Yeah. Oh, Brandon Gold, who asked us a question before, he's got an enlistment date of the 19th of October. Very exciting.
That is, but it's far enough away that you still get the sweats when you wake up and go, where am I?
Yeah.
Okay. In Dev me?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
How do I get from Brisbane to Kapooka? They'll either bus you or fly you, mate.
Yep.
I'm joining on the 7th of September.
That's close.
That's damn close.
A couple of days away.
You should know by now, mate. You need to ring up Stat and find out. But when you're going for your enlistment ceremony, or the night before, you'll be fine. You just either way, it doesn't matter. You turn up with a bag. You're either going by foot, by car, by train, by plane, or by boat.
Yep.
There was one there that I was going to ask that was just... Where were we?
I've got one for you.
What is it?
Oh, hang on. He just retracted it. Jamie, I saw it. It's too late. I saw it, Jamie. He asked. He retracted it, but here it is. Do people join up the army with anxiety? And the question is, I hope not.
Yeah.
That's the answer. That's what I'd say. I'd hope not, because that's a failing on recruiting's side if they have.
If you can be nervous about the outcome of something, you can get jitters, etc. But we can't afford to have scared people, who are likely to flee with arms flailing like a grasshopper in a windstorm away from a Red Nation wok. We need people that are going to be resolute, that can be stoic when it's needed, and we will teach those skills.
Yeah.
There is a reason why the military is so stringent on mental health.
Yeah.
It is not an insult to say I think someone has a mental health problem.
No.
It's an observation based on people watching probably behaviours that are consistently showing something is wrong.
Exactly. Not like the person with anxiety has chosen to have anxiety. In the veteran community and defence community, everyone's pretty understanding about these kind of things. But it is the job you're doing is at a higher risk of causing you being taxing on your mental health anyway. So if you already have an underlying condition, I would say it's not advisable for you or the organisation to risk that.
That's true. Well, we've got just two more questions to go. I need to answer this one because it's an important one. I think it's a decent question. Sanchez, do you think there's a lack of patriotism in Australia? I'd say absolutely not. We have a different patriotism to the USA. You go into a pub and start slagging off Australia, and you'd better take your mouth guard. We have got plenty of people that are extremely patriotic, and almost all of them, are your labourers, your tradies, your hardworking individuals. We've also got an influx of beta males, that also won't stay on the Titanic. It's not about Australia. It's just that they are a more effeminate version, somewhere in between man and woman, I guess, who, as long as they're comfortable, they're happy. But that's, again, like a not mental disorder, but some people will divorce themselves from any responsibility to country because, I don't know, it's maybe something else is their priority. We're seeing that these good times have allowed people to be completely aloof to the dangers in the world. And I don't care. I don't care about that. They can be that way, and I hope they have an awesome life. But never tell me how to do my job. Never tell the people who step up for you, whether they be police, paramedics, firemen, the baker who gets up earlier than anyone to make the pie that we take for granted, whether it be, you name it. There's thousands of jobs in Australia that people take for granted that just by working, you're showing some sort of patriotism, just by having a job.
Yeah, we make Australia.
Yep, I meet patriotic people all the time in Australia, and I meet patriotic people that are over the top. Don't ever lose hope, mate. They're there. They're definitely there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you know who's seeing more about that than any country? USA. People doubted them in 2016. And look what happened. There was a surge that they didn't expect. And it's going to be bigger in 2020. You can bet on that, and I probably will.
Why not?
And look, how good does Jake look in this backdrop? The Roman there.
He looks great, doesn't he?
It looks like he's looking at us.
I know. It's just like he's here.
His warm weather gear is just a clenched fist that he puts on his chest and says, "That's a good blanket."
Yeah, and that pair of capris he's wearing.
That's right. I bet they weren't that clean. I bet they started white. All right, team. We gave you a little bit of a different stream tonight. We saw the bowls were coming overhand, some of them underhand from Lauren, and I answered them. I hope you like that way, because otherwise what can happen is I can get so caught up in answering every single comment that great ones, can get left behind. The quality of this for people that not only are listening now but listening later, it's imperative that every question that gets asked by you, they go, "Oh, that's a good one. I want to see him get himself out of this."
Questions. Yeah, these guys asked some really great questions tonight.
Yep. Well, no, Buckaroony, he's joking. Zulu's joking. How can I join Delta Force after Kapuka? You can't. You can get in Delta Company.
Yeah. Sad Unit 7.
Kraken number 7, danger close. Bam. Stoddy. All right, guys. Father's Day, this Sunday.
Yes.
This Saturday.
And the epic stream on Saturday. I won't be there all day. I actually have a date, but I will be there when I'm not.
Do you mean the fruit date?
No, I actually hate
the Egyptian
fruit
treat?
dates. Yeah, no, I hate them. I like them cooked into stuff. I don't like them on their own.
Looks like a roach.
Yep. Yuck. Blech. Don't talk about it. I'm too crook for that.
That's it. Mr. Buckaroony, I love what you do. I love how much service you've given to Australia, and I'd love to ask you that same question and see your response. Are Australians patriotic enough? Because I tell you, where Buckaroony comes from in North Queensland, we wear it like a cape. Guys and gals, let's go to bed. Not together. Take it easy. And Jake, if you're on that flea-bitten, infested by tinea blanket, thinking you didn't really talk a hell of a lot about me tonight, Kaz. Mate, we're thinking about you. For those who turned up late, in the summary of tonight, There is going to be times where you are injured. There is going to be times when you fail for whatever reason in your military training. It's inevitable. I never fail. Yes, I did. Mortar course, but I'll explain something about that another day.
Yeah. We've all failed. Look, we've all failed. Everybody fails. Nobody just sails through life without failure. And it really will make or break you is how you react to it.
Yep. And being here at stream tonight, Jake is the one that's sitting on that bed. Jake is about to get looked after. You know,
Yeah.
the Army may even send him home and say, come back in 8 weeks. They might say, stay here, righto, and eat your toenails. Right? I don't know what they're going to say next. That comes up to the medical and when they can get him back, make the fingers fit the glove. But please understand that emotionally, like a breakup, like not being able to buy a dog, for example, when the emotion leaves, the common sense comes back. You understand there's nothing personal. You understand for every action there's a reaction, and you're suffering the reaction now.
Yeah.
So,
hey, can I just, JP's come in the room and can I just say Happy Father's Day to him because he is the dad of my kids and I'd like to say Happy Father's Day to him. He's a great dad.
that is a fantastic message. And
Yeah.
and I can tell you, I tell my ex-partner all the time what a great mum she is, but it's very, very rare that I hear anyone getting told they're a great dad.
No, JP's a terrific dad. In fact, I think we're a good parenting team and I wouldn't be able to do it without him.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good message, and you know, and we're going to touch on that a lot on Saturday because it's actually a dad we're helping.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
On the cusp of Father's Day, and imagine that if he's got no money in the bank, okay, and then after some of the donations goes in, he changes his plans for Father's Day and takes his lovely little girl to Cactus Jack's. You know, for something that you're getting him the ability to do, capability.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. If you don't, you're crazy. You know, it's the one that's here to answer. If you don't subscribe to me, then you're here for Lauren. And that's fine too. If you do a thumbs down, I hope you get scurvy of the lower lip.
Oh, come on now.
And I hope that you get Cheeto dust on your fingers that you can't wash off.
The thumb. Yeah.
See you later, Simon Powell. Thanks for hanging out here, team.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.